Gurfalo and the Great Balloon Bonanza. Deep in the quirky Wobble Woods, where squirrels drove acorn cars and frogs played leapfrog on lily pad trampolines, Gurfalo, the big green furry creature with floppy purple ears and giant stompy feet, was having a very ordinary day. That is until he noticed something strange floating above the trees. "Zippity," he shouted, waving to his tiny blue bird friend. "Come quick! The sky is full of balloons." Sure enough, hundreds of colorful balloons were drifting across the forest, tied to what looked like pies. Gurfalo squinted his big purple eyes and gasped. "Those are my pies," he bellowed, his voice echoing through the woods. The pie parade in the sky. Gurfalo had spent all morning baking Cheeseberry Crunch pies for the annual Wobble Woods picnic. But now, his delicious pies were floating away, tied to balloons of every color. Zippity zipped around Gurfalo's head. "This is no accident," she chirped. "I saw the raccoons sneaking around your kitchen earlier." "Those raccoons?" Gurfalo growled, shaking his floppy ears. "First my marshmallows, now my pies? Not on my watch." Determined to get his pies back, Gurfalo grabbed his extra-large backpack and set off in the direction of the balloons. The great balloon chase. The forest was alive with excitement as Gurfalo stomped his way after the drifting pies. His giant feet went boom boom, shaking the ground with every step. First, he passed Gary the goat, who was balancing on a seesaw. "Hey, Gurfalo!" Gary bleated. "What's the rush?" "My pies are floating away," Gurfalo shouted. Gary squinted at the sky. "Wow, that's the fanciest pie delivery service I've ever seen." Gurfalo didn't have time to explain. He marched on, catching up with Millie the mole, who was peeking out of her tunnel. "Gurfalo," Millie said, "did you lose a pie? One just landed in my hole, and it's delicious." "That's my pie," Gurfalo groaned, grabbing the pie from Millie before continuing his chase. The balloon raccoons. Finally, Gurfalo reached the clearing where the raccoons had set up their headquarters. The raccoons were wearing tiny pilot goggles and cheering as they used slingshots to send more pies tied to balloons into the air. "Hey!" Gurfalo roared. "Those are my pies." The raccoons froze, their goggles slipping down their noses. Their leader, Ralph the raccoon, stepped forward. "Relax, Gurfalo," he said with a toothy grin. "We're just testing a new delivery system for you. Aren't we clever?" Gurfalo's purple ears twitched with frustration. "You're not clever. You're pie thieves." Ralph shrugged. "Okay, maybe a little of both. But you have to admit, the balloons are fun." The plan to save the pies. Just then, a gust of wind sent the remaining balloons soaring even higher. The raccoons yelped, and Gurfalo looked up at the sky, where his pies were now floating dangerously close to the edge of Wobble Woods. "We have to get those pies back before they drift out of the forest," Gurfalo said. "Great idea," Ralph said. "What's your plan?" "My plan?" Gurfalo said, glaring. "You're the one who caused this mess. You figure it out." Ralph scratched his head. "Okay. How about we build a giant slingshot to launch Gurfalo into the sky?" "That sounds dangerous," Zippity chirped. "Too dangerous," Gurfalo agreed. "We need something safer and less fling-why." After a moment of brainstorming, Gurfalo had an idea. "We'll build a balloon basket to fly up and collect the pies." The balloon bonanza. The raccoons, feeling guilty, worked quickly with Gurfalo and Zippity to create a giant basket tied to a bundle of balloons. Gurfalo climbed into the basket, and with a mighty push from Gary the goat, they soared into the air. "This is amazing!" Gurfalo shouted as they floated higher and higher. "I can see the whole forest from up here." As they approached the drifting pies, Zippity flew ahead to pop the balloons one by one. Each time a balloon popped, a pie gently landed in the basket. "Almost got them all," Zippity chirped. But just as they were about to grab the last pie, a sudden gust of wind sent the basket spinning. "Hang on!" Gurfalo shouted, his floppy ears flapping wildly. The basket tilted, and for a moment, it seemed like they might tip over. "Use your stompy feet," Zippity called out. Gurfalo stomped down hard on the bottom of the basket, stabilizing it just in time to grab the final pie. A sweet landing with all the pies safely collected, Gurfalo and Zippity steered the balloon basket back to the ground. They landed in the middle of the picnic, where a crowd of woodland animals had gathered. "Gurfalo, you saved the pies!" Millie the mole cheered. "Best entrance ever!" Gary the goat bleated. Even the raccoons joined the celebration, offering to serve the pies as a way to make up for their mischief. Gurfalo grinned as he cut the first slice of Cheeseberry Crunch pie. "Next time, raccoons, ask before you borrow my pies. And no more balloons." The raccoons nodded sheepishly, and everyone dug into the pies. As the sun set over Wobble Woods, the forest was filled with laughter, stories, and the delicious smell of pie. The end.